everyone, welcome to the New Earth channel. I'm Benj. We're here to help promote health and well-being, emotionally, physically and spiritually. I am an NLP practitioner, holistic therapist and energy healer.
And my name is Gabby. I am a holistic counsellor and energy healer. I also specialise in sacred room healing, Reiki and distant healing. And today we're going to be talking to you guys about synchronicities. So what are synchronicities? Well, a lot of people may think that it is reoccurring events or coincidences that have specific meaning, but there is so much more about that we want to give you a little bit of insight into. That's why we've written them all down into our notes. So Benj, what are synchronicities?
So synchronicities are something that feel divinely orchestrated. It could be with people, events, environment. So it's basically the universe giving you a big thumbs up, saying you're on the right track.
Yes. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. I like that.
And you're in alignment basically. So yeah, it's signs that you are on the right path, and it's about trusting those signs.
Yes, and also knowing when there is resistance in your life and paying attention to that resistance.
Yeah.
So that's also really important.
If you resist it, it will keep coming up into your consciousness, all right? And the real magic starts when you actually start trusting and following that guidance.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important to be in touch with your intuition and your awareness, so that way when you're seeing these things, you can kind of connect the dots a little bit and help your journey a lot more quickly.
Yeah, and it's really your higher self, higher conscious, or super conscious working with your subconscious. They're working hand in hand.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So how do they appear? There's actually a lot of ways that synchronicities can come into our awareness. I think the most common one that we find is with numerology and with numbers.
Absolutely, especially for me. 1444.
Yes, it's
I keep
true.
seeing it over and over again.
You will really resonate with the numbers as well.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, is I find that whatever you really resonate with, so for example, if you really resonate with music, if you listen to a lot of music and you suddenly listen to on the radio and there's like a song that has specific lyrics that you really resonate with in that moment.
You get in the car just at the right time, you hear that right verse, and it's like, there'll be something going on that day, and there'll be those words that will basically answer to what's going on, right? Synchronicity again.
And that's the thing too, is when it comes to synchronicity, it's not so much about looking for it. Yeah. It's about being aware for it. I mean, I can speak for myself, is there are so many times that I'll be driving and I get to the traffic lights and I'm having a moment of doubt, and then I'm seeing 333s everywhere. Number plates on my clock, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm protected, I'm loved, I'm fine. Because 3 actually has a very significant number.
Yeah, well, it's the Ascended Masters, but it also signifies balance or not being in balance. If you're seeing, 333. So if you're not feeling well, then maybe, it's a good time to examine your emotional, physical, spiritual states, or else looking at it in more depth, basically.
Another really cool way that synchronicities comes through is by the people that we see. I mean, how many times has it been that you might see the same person in the space of a week? Or you've been thinking of someone and they call you, or they come up on your news feed.
Yes. I know with my mum especially if you're connected with someone, emotionally, like my mum, I'll think about her and she'll call, and it's that, that energetic line that you both have, right? And then when that happens, it's not only, your psychic ability, but it's also synchronicity as well. You're tuning into each other, basically.
Yes, and that's how we actually met.
Absolutely.
Synchronicities, that's how we met.
Same gyms. We'd look at each other, and it almost had this feeling like, I know this girl,
Yes, it was like, I need
but
to
where?
speak to him.
And we didn't speak initially, but we kept bumping into each other.
Even outside the gym.
Yeah.
I was
in the post office.
I was like, who are you?
And then when we finally did speak, we were doing the same, studying the same holistic diploma, same college in Melbourne, and it really felt like there was some sort of destiny associated with it, and now we're working together.
Exactly. So half the time synchronicity works in those beautiful ways to help you align with what it is you need to be doing in that moment, and by paying attention to that is really, really important. Speaking of which, dreams. Have you ever had a dream that you've
Dreams
had
are a good
the
one.
exact same dream for like 3 nights or a whole week where you have the same dream like once a month, it definitely can come through in your dreams. Particularly ones you can remember the details, like lucid
animals again coming through your dreams, and then you sort of wake up and you have a look through Google or something like that at the spiritual meaning behind it. It's normally pertinent to, you know, where you are on your spiritual journey. Right? It's about paying attention to that and using that to your advantage. That's where the magic really starts to happen. Yeah,
it's all about paying attention. Exactly right.
And trust.
Keyword, trust. I'm gonna just put it here.
So overused, but it is, you know, it's really important that when you are given these meaningful signs that you do trust in them.
Absolutely, and we can all tap into this. We all have the ability to pay attention to synchronicities. So it's one thing to be aware of synchronicities, but the next stage is to understand the meaning behind them, and there are actually some really cool ways to do that.
One is meditation. So if something's being shown to you and you can't quite work out what it is, then meditate on it, all right? Quieten the mind, switch that chitter-chatter off, and then what will happen is the answer will be there for you.
Exactly right. And you can do this either in meditation or simply when you're in that moment. But ask yourself, what are you feeling? What are you feeling in that moment? Are you feeling doubt? Is that why you're seeing 333s? Is there some kind of unfinished business that you need to finish off with that individual that you keep seeing? What is it that is behind the meaning of that synchronicity? By asking yourself, what are you feeling? And checking in with meditation, because that's really what you want to do, is quieten that mind and eliminate that conscious state of trying to understand it logically.
Also doing research, you know, if things are happening over and over again, research it and find out what it actually means, all right? I mean, awareness is really the key, isn't it?
It is,
you know,
yes.
Once you're aware of it, you can then work with it, basically.
And resistance is really big. You know, when it comes to synchronicities, there might be resistance in your life where synchronicities are really intense because they're trying to help you. Think of it like the body, right? When we get sick, we start to develop a common cough, and we might be coughing for a couple of days, or we feel really fatigued for a couple of days. It's because your body is giving you signs. They want you to bring something into your awareness. They want you to bring your health into awareness. Same with synchronicities.
Another example of that is, you know, you have people with oracle cards, and you know, they say to me, "Oh, I keep getting the same cards over and over again." It's like, really? I'm like, there's a clear message there, all right? You're resisting something in your life. Listen and trust, all right? So
that's me.
Forward.
That's so me. I do it all the time. I'm like, I want a different card. I get the same card, and I'm like,
doesn't work that way.
So when it comes to synchronicities, it's not just one thing to see them, but also to understand why they're coming into your awareness. So how do we understand those messages? How do we interpret them?
So it's really about trust, isn't it?
It is, yes. Trusting your intuition is so important. Absolutely.
That trust word, it comes up so many times. It's about trusting in that and following that, all right? Using your intuition, that gut feeling, all right? And, you know, you can choose to ignore it or resist or keep coming up and smack bang in your face.
Like when we met, I couldn't shake it.
Until you do something about it.
He was everywhere, and I was like, fine, I'll talk to him. And next minute I'm like, I'm just like, we're good pals. It's one thing to be aware of synchronicities, but it's also really important to understand the message behind them. And there are some really cool ways that you can do this. A friend of mine actually told me a really good trick. When you're seeing a synchronicity, perhaps a number, or you're seeing the same person a couple of days a week for no apparent reason, ask yourself what it is you're feeling in that moment. And particularly, that emotion that you're feeling is just your guides or the universe tapping in and being like, it's okay, you're protected, trust, you're nurtured, and all these beautiful things. So for example, right, how many times have you been driving and you get a little bit doubtful or you're nervous and then you see 333s?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because 333s are a big number.
Yeah, it's the Ascended Masters. They're letting you know that they're behind you, helping you, supporting you. Just like 444 is the angelic realm, all right? Your angels, your guides are there helping you, pushing you forward.
Exactly. And also addressing your current life.
Yes.
What is happening in your current life that the universe is trying to bring to your attention? And I like to think of this if you're getting really sick, for example, and you start to develop a constant cough. or you're starting to feel constantly fatigued. Your body is giving you signs that you need to address something. And it's the same with synchronicity, same with the universe. If there is resistance in your life, the universe is going to kind of tap in and be like, hey, we need to address this situation.
It's about listening to your body, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Being a lot more aware. And this is also why it's so important to activate your third eye and to bring into that awareness a lot more.
Absolutely.
So we've actually had our own personal accounts with synchronicities. I can speak for myself, as I'm sure many of you have, of having reoccurring dreams. I have one in particular where it happened probably 3 years ago. I was living with my sister and I had this reoccurring dream for 4 days where we had this huge argument in this dream and I stormed out and I had people following me going, no, you need to come back, I need to address this. Don't just walk away, sort this issue out. And I woke up being like, that was a weird dream. Didn't think of anything of it. And then 4 days later, we had an argument. And I don't know what it was about. It's something petty. We're sisters, we fight sometimes. And I stormed out. I was so angry, I stormed out. We didn't speak for 2 days. 2 whole days we didn't speak. And I remember just thinking, okay, interesting. And since then, I've had a lot of synchronicities in my dreams.
So I've had a good example for synchronicity in dream as well. I was having this reoccurring dream about my investment property and that I needed to move back. Anyway, in this dream, there was a part of the garden that wasn't finished and part of the fence was missing as well. Anyway, I kept dreaming about this over and over and over again. Anyway, if you look at what a garden means spiritually, it's basically something that needs to be nurtured, all right? With the fence missing, I think that was symbolic that there was something that was unfinished, all right? And that was an understatement, all right? I've had to, since COVID, I've had to move back into it and do a lot of work to the property. So that's your psychic ability tuning in, but it's also synchronicity as well. And I think it's really about trusting that, all right? Trusting that and working with it, all right, to your advantage.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Another really interesting story I have to tell you is my really weird encounter with a butterfly. This happened like 6 or so years ago, before I had done my qualifications in holistic counselling and alternative therapies. This is long before I had really allowed myself to awaken spiritually. And I was at home and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really have any direction in life. I felt very lost in my purpose. And I was in my backyard and this butterfly just kept hovering around me. And at this stage, I knew what synchronicities kind of were, but I didn't really allow myself to dive in deep into it all. And it was just flying around me and I was like, weird butterfly just following me around. Then I had to go out and do some errands. And I saw a butterfly hovering around my car and I was like, interesting, okay. Then when I came home, I remember unlocking the door and this butterfly was right in my face, like literally right here, and it was just hovering over here. And it was almost like the universe was just like, you were gonna pay attention to me. And it wouldn't leave for probably a good couple of seconds and then it just flew away. And I remember just sitting inside being like, what just happened? But also, I was very intrigued. I was like, there's got to be a reason as to why I'm seeing this butterfly so much today. Researched it, and butterflies actually have a lot of meaning behind
some
new beginnings. Yeah, new beginnings. And
transformation.
I remember feeling just so like heartfelt. I was like, thank you. So that was a beautiful experience with animals, because animals do come through in synchronicities.
Yeah, exactly. Another example for me was earlier in my awakening, I was seeing a lot of animals, and I remember one particular time I was seeing sparrows. Anyway, they were flying around me. I was always seeing them on the fence, just at the right time. And I remember one particular time I've come home. Anyway, it was after a big day at work. Anyway, I was feeling a bit tired and thought I'd have an nap. Anyway, I walked into my bedroom and I had 3 long windows. Anyway, there was a group of or a flock of sparrows tapping on my window.
Right? Are you serious?
Yeah, and I thought, they're looking at the reflection. Cool. So anyway, I thought, how annoying. Anyway, I've pulled down my blinds. I've jumped onto my bed. Anyway, I've looked down and I could see these sparrows and they were looking through the cracks of my blinds, like they were looking at me.
Oh my God, really?
There were so many of them. It was so strange. Anyway, I thought, okay, well, I'll look up the meaning of it. Anyway, one thing that really sort of stuck out to me was doing charity work, all right? Because I've been thinking about doing charity work, and so I listened to that, and then the next day I organised to become a member of a charity overseas, and since then I've done work with them. So that's a beautiful example of,
Wow, it's
of
almost
using
like
that to your advantage, or listening and trusting it.
It's like the universe was saying, yes, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
we want
this is
you
what
to
you
go
need to
forward
do.
with this. That's so beautiful. And that's the thing about synchronicities, is some of the ways that they communicate with us is just so heartfelt. Like, it's so beautiful.
Okay everyone, if you find value in our videos, please like, share, subscribe down below, leave comments. We'd love to hear from you.
We are doing videos every week talking about different topics around the mind, body and soul.
If people have anything that they're worried about or they're confused about, please comment, and we can talk about it basically in our videos. So especially with spiritual ascension, things like that.
Yes, and if you want to learn more about what Benj and I do, we do actually have our own businesses. We'll leave all that details down in the bio for you to check out. Otherwise, have an amazing day.
Yes.
Sending you love and light.
Sending you love and light. Namaste.
Bye.
Bye bye.